What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Hustle and Heart Podcast. I got Deja Jasmine with me, also known as Foodies With A Cutie.
Hey.
Hey, appreciate you coming through. So today we're gonna be talking about her journey, and her, owning a business, and also, what obstacles she's faced coming up, with the business and how long she's been in business. So, just tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, how you came up with the name, and just a little bit, just a little bit of, obstacles that you face when it comes to owning the business.
Okay, so Deja Jasmine, Foodies with a Cutie. I originally started out doing something called the Deja Talk Show.
Okay.
I was doing the Deja Talk Show to bring people on my platform, tell their stories, how they got through certain obstacles. And it was cool, but it was like, it wasn't for me.
Okay.
Like, I love the purpose and the mission behind it, but it just wasn't for me. It felt forced. And I was like, okay, which way can I pivot to make myself and my audience more intrigued in what I'm putting out there?
Right.
So I started new segments, and one of them was Food Fridays. And that's basically where I go to different local and family-owned restaurants, food trucks, bakeries, and I'll highlight the business, their background story, what they have to offer, and encourage everybody to go support them. And I fell in love with it. I was like, I want every day to be Food Friday. Like, I think this is what I solely want my business to be focused on, because I loved it so much. I looked forward to it. I've always loved food.
Okay.
I've always been super greedy. My dad and I used to have like eating contests every year for Thanksgiving. So food is my thing.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, how can I make basically like a brand out of it?
Yeah.
So you familiar with Ebony J Media?
Yeah.
Okay, so she has a mentorship program called Media Coin Academy, where they basically, she teaches you how to brand yourself through social media. And it helped me tremendously. I went through the course, and then I went under her wing as a mentee, and it helped me tremendously. I came up with my business plan. I came up with my brand name. I always felt like I wanted it to be Foodies with a Cutie, but I was stuck in between Foodies with a Cutie and Little Lady Big Food, or Little Lady Big Eats, or something like that. But I went with Foodies with a Cutie. I did like a poll on Facebook and Instagram, just on my general page.
Yeah.
And I got like a lot of engagement. People didn't even know like what I had on my sleeve. Like, I was just like, hey, like, which business name y'all like more, Foodies with a Cutie or Little Lady Big Eats? And everybody loved Foodies with a Cutie. I was already like, my mind and my heart was already set on Foodies with a Cutie. But yeah. So Foodies with a Cutie is basically what Food Fridays was for the Deja Talk Show.
Oh, okay.
That is where I venture out to all of our different local and family-owned restaurants, food trucks, bakeries, lounges. If they got food, they got drinks, I want to be there, and I want to support them. The moral behind my brand is just to support these businesses and encourage other people to support. Now, once you get there, if you don't like it, that's on you. Everybody got their own opinions. I've posted places that I personally wouldn't spend a block for that other people absolutely love.
Right.
And, it's just different opinions. So overall, I love to support our local businesses. With my social media postings, like, it changes their foot traffic, their sales, their overall brand awareness, their social media following. Like, it all increases within hours of my postings. Like, sometimes even by 50%, like up to 50%, but on average, 20 to 30%.
Right. Wow. That's phenomenal. That's
Thank
phenomenal.
you.
I mean, the thing is, like, to be able to do that for people and also help people like that, you gotta have a good heart for that. Like, you really gotta have a good heart. And I think some people, like, here within the city, it's like almost like, everybody want to do it by themselves and never together. I'm like, we can do things together and help people grow. And also, as in that time of, you helping people grow, you're also growing yourself, because that way you networking with people, you talking to people. And that's what a lot of people don't necessarily understand, is like, work together.
Yeah.
You build a lot with a team. Like, it's hard to do everything by yourself. Like,
Yes.
it's tough.
You familiar with Morgan Owens?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Morgan said something like, and I've always looked up to Morgan, like, before I ever started, like, my actual journey of Foodies with the Cutie. Like, I've always known that I wanted to be in the media field, but something that Morgan had said during one of her conferences, like, stuck with me. So it was basically like, it's okay to lift as you climb. It's okay to help uplift other people while you're still on a journey for yourself, because there's no telling that in the ways that you might have shortcomings, they might have those answers for you. So I don't see why people wouldn't want to help other people. Like, you never, like, and it's not to get anything out of it. It's just simply because you just never know where that could put you, period. Like,
never.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, you never know where that can put you. Like, ever.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get people in that mindset. And I think one of the reasons why I feel like this podcast is definitely going to be good for a lot of entrepreneurs is that, like, some people don't necessarily reach out to multiple people, like, or people like you or people like me, like, to be able to help. And it's like, don't be scared to do it, and don't be scared to get on camera. A lot of people are scared to be in front of the camera. A lot of people are scared to talk in front of the camera. Like, sometimes you got to put yourself out there to really put yourself in those rooms that you need to be in. And that's literally one thing that I learned. And it took me like 5 years of being like a business owner to learn it. Like, I've been in business almost 10 years now. It's actually going on 10 years.
Congratulations,
well,
that's major. Yeah,
I try, but honestly, like, I didn't have no guidance. So without me having no guidance, without me being able to watch, podcasts like this, or just having a mentor, or even having somebody to help me, it was like I had to learn all of this about myself. But once I got that knowledge and was able to thrive the way I wanted to thrive, and be in those circles that I needed to be in, like, my life literally changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, this is crazy. It's crazy that people can really take you to a new level, especially if you're in a room around people that you don't know and you feel uncomfortable. Feeling uncomfortable is always a good feeling for me. Being comfortable, it ain't good for me, because I feel like I'm stable. Bills is paid. I'm not worried. But I'm not actually physically going out to get more than what I want. So, what are some of the obstacles that you went through that you was able to, overcome, and how did you overcome them?
I would say how fast my brand grew. We all start a business and we want our business to be like the best in whatever category you fall in, right? So when I started, I'm like, like I want to be like known all over. Like, I'm trying to be like one of the biggest. And I mean, I got what I asked for. Okay. But it came with a whole lot of work. And I'm one person, and I feel like the biggest struggle for me was learning how to let go and let somebody else come in and help me, because I want control so bad over everything that has my name attached to it, because it just means that much to me. And it's what I built. It's like my baby. It's literally your baby. So it's so hard to just like hand that over to somebody and trust somebody else with those certain tasks or those certain goals that you have set for yourself that you want them to help you get there. And it's just so much, like, but I just had to reassure myself that even if it doesn't go right, maybe not such an easy fix, but it could be fixable, and I would just have to go through whatever I gotta go through to get to the next level. But really just letting go and letting somebody help me. I missed out on opportunities because I was trying to do everything on my own. I recently just started talking about it because, I'm done crying about it now. I'm still salty, but I missed out on an opportunity with the Food Network.
That's huge.
They were in my emails. I'm not a big email girly.
Yeah.
Not a big email girly. I mean, I am now because I have no choice, but in those beginning stages, I wish I showed up as the person that I always needed to show up as, because I was just missing big things. So I would definitely say letting somebody in and not feeling like I have to be in control at all times, and not trying to be so perfect, because that's another reason why I didn't want to let nobody in on my brand, because I don't want you to mess it up. Like, it's going to be so hard to fix it, but sometimes we just have to go through those things, and if we have to fix it, then so be it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I learned that the hard way as well. And the reason why I say that is because it was like, clientele is always good. I have a clientele. A lot of other people got clientele, but like you said, you can't be in two places at one time. And it was a time to where, I had an opportunity to where I was already booked, and I didn't want one of my team members to take that booking because I didn't feel like that I was able to trust them. And the reason why that is because, they just starting off. They wasn't as good in my eyes. But typically what I'll do is I'll critique myself and my work, and then I'll critique whoever else work that, I feel like could be better, but those are my eyes. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn that, what looks good to me may look even better to somebody else. Or what don't look good to me may look phenomenal to somebody else.
Facts.
Um, so I really had to learn that, and I really had to actually physically like learn how to teach and learn how to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it's like, well, you may hire somebody for your brand that you built from ground up, and now your name is on this brand, and it's like you said, it's like your baby,
Yeah.
and it's like, you don't want whoever you hire or whoever you know include yourself with to mess it up, because they
Facts.
either got one, bad customer service, two, don't know your brand, three, don't know your core values and what you stand for, four, they just not doing what the job entails basically.
Facts.
And it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, like, you really have to learn how to sometimes talk to people, but teach them in a different way than you were taught. I was
Mm-hmm.
taught, it's got to be hands on for me. Sometimes some people, they can hear you out and you good to go. Some people need to be taught to see it. Sometimes you need to take them on, what they call orientation, like the 9 to 5.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, and it was really hard for me, and I really had to grind through that. But now it's like, I'm able to send off a job to him or her or whomever I'm working with, and then go get another job. And now I'm making, more than what I would have been making if I would have just did it myself.
Exactly. And
So,
that is another thing. Like I've been able to get a lot more done now that it's not just me. Like so many
mm,
amazing things are happening because I let go in
yep.
some ways. So I now have a brand manager and he is
Mm,
phenomenal. And everything that you just said, like as far as knowing my core values, like just
yep.
paying attention to details,
Yep.
taking the time to understand my brand, he does that. Like he does that, he did it, and he applies it, and he be going crazy. So I am
Shout out to
happy that
him. Shout out
yeah,
to him.
huge shout out, Black Dollar LLC. Um, yeah,
I
yeah,
love it. I
it
love
was
it.
a good decision. I'm happy I got over that fear and just you know trusted him and
Yeah.
God because
Listen,
that wasn't
listen.
100% my
Yeah.
idea,
Yeah.
but I knew it needed to happen, and I'm definitely glad I went for it. So at any moment as an entrepreneur you feel like it's becoming too much, not even like hiring somebody,
Mm-hmm.
finding those people in your circle that are good at what they do
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how they can apply their skills to your brand. And if they love you, then they're going to do it with love. Like it won't
Yeah.
be anything held over your head. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to ask for help or to hire those people that can't help.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, that's to top that, like, it's when people have a passion for what they do, I feel like they put more into it than when they feel like it's just a job.
Mm-hmm.
So like for you, it's like, you love doing this. It don't feel like a job. You like going out and, helping people grow and promoting brands and even cooking, like different stuff like that. Like it's a passion. So now you love to do it. But once it feel like a job, so let's just say, I'm sure everybody then had a 9 to 5. Everybody then had a job, and you there, and you just like, bro, I do not want to be here. I'm
Mm-hmm. The
sleepy. I want to
whole
go
shift.
home. The whole shit,
Yep.
like, I'm tired. I'm dreading getting up. But like once you own you own your own business, you have a passion for it. It's like you really putting your foot down and making sure like it thrive the
Yeah.
way you need it to thrive, and that's honestly really the biggest thing is just staying true to yourself and staying true to who you are and making that business what you really want it to be.
Yeah,
Like,
facts.
so have you ever had a fear that when you are making a meal that this person or that person would have bad critiques about the food?
When I'm making a
Yes,
meal,
when you are making a meal.
oh, yeah, I'm like really hard on myself when it comes to
Really?
my cooking. I have very high expectations, and if it is not like 110% perfection, I am not satisfied.
I
That's
love to
just
hear
me
that.
though.
I love to hear that.
I don't do like catering jobs and stuff
Really?
though. Yeah, no, I leave that to everybody else.
I don't blame
At
you.
least
I
for
don't
now,
blame
at
you.
least for
Yeah.
now, but I do eventually want to open a restaurant in honor of my mom. So that's a fun fact.
Ooh, okay.
So I be working on some things here and there. Got to start working on some more recipes
I love to hear
as
it.
far as to like what I want to incorporate there. But I think when I do get to that point of opening my restaurant, I am gonna be like, I wouldn't even say afraid of those critiques.
Mm-hmm.
I just, and I always try to push this on to other people right now. Give people grace. Like,
Yes.
give people grace. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
be so quick to go to a restaurant that I'll post and they'll be like, oh, like, this was terrible. Like, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like, and that just be that. Like,
Right.
but they wouldn't give them a second or a third chance, or at least even take the time to relay that message directly to the business to redirect them on how they can better serve the community. So that is like one thing that I do hope and pray for, as far as like when I do step into that era of my entrepreneurship journey, as far as like having the restaurant. Um, just people like coming to support me with love, and if I ever fall short in some areas, you go ahead and let me know and let me fix that. Let me fix that. So
I love
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
love it. I love it. Yeah.
that's the fear that I have, is that I mean, not everybody knows what grace is.
Yeah.
Some people can't even freaking spell it, for crying out loud.
Mm.
So
Yeah, please.
Can't satisfy everybody, and that's something that I've definitely recently learned. So not everybody is gonna like your business, and that's because most of the time they just don't want to like your business.
That's a fact.
It's not because there's any valid facts behind it. It's just they don't want to like you, and that's gonna happen. And you can't let that discourage you. If anything, let it ignite you.
You speaking?
Give them more reasons to be mad. Are you madder yet?
Like, you speaking. I love it. I love it. Now that's definitely important. That's definitely important. Now for any entrepreneurs like that are wanting to follow in your footsteps, they haven't started a business yet. Like, what advice would you say, would be good for them to, start helping them out to actually grow the business? It can be, for example, like, make sure you create a business plan. If you create a business plan, like anything that you can give advice wise to somebody that's looking to follow into your footsteps.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few things. I start off by saying, know exactly what it is that you want to do. Figure out the best ways to reach your specific demographic. Figure out what your demographic even looks like. Like, are they kids? Are they young adults? Or like, is your audience very broad and wide? Because me personally, mine was. I feel like age wise, I feel like there's no cap.
No, it's not.
When it comes to mine.
Yeah.
Just kind of like figure those things out, and then figure out how to tap into it. And then also, if you're in the media, figure out how to get their attention within the first 3 seconds. First 3 seconds. First 3 seconds, you gonna see me take a bite of food. You gonna see me do a cheese pull, and then I'll get into it. So I definitely say learning how to get their attention and keep their attention. A lot of the times, things won't always work the same. You may have mastered something and it's really working for you, and then all of a sudden it's not working anymore. You're gonna have to go back to the drawing board a couple of times with a few things. And then another thing that I'd say, it was one thing that came to my mind as you was talking, and I'm trying to remember what that is.
Oh no,
definitely
you just
some market
gave
research though.
Market research?
Yeah, definitely market research. Figuring out how to get a hold of your audience, period.
Yeah.
There was one more thing, and I really wanted to say it, and I'm really bothered that I can't remember.
No, it is okay. Look, you just gave people gems that they did not know, and that's definitely important. That's definitely important. Now I see you have brought something with you today.
Oh yeah.
Like, can I check it out to see what it's?
So this is actually gonna be yours to keep.
Oh,
I'm gonna write in there
okay.
before the end of this. I wanted to get a vibe as far as like what to write in here.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Okay. Well, that's always a good thing. I'm always excited to see entrepreneurs grow. I'm always excited to help people grow, and it takes time really to get to that step, and I feel like once you start building that team, you really like took it to the next level. And like every time I'm on Instagram, I'm like, Foodies with a Cutie. Foodies with a Cutie. Foodies with a Cutie.
That's the goal.
It'd be, hey, cutie. I'm like,
yes.
All right, okay. I don't know if I said that right, but it was fire.
Yeah,
it was fire.
Facts,
I'm definitely always seeing you grow, always seeing you flourish in your own way. Because I mean, obviously, you created a lane that literally nobody in the city is doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, people can get to the point where they're like, I want to be like her. People can get to the point where, like, I don't like her and this, that, and the other. And it's like, it's okay
Yeah.
to feel that way. And it's okay. And I always think that, like, if you becoming an entrepreneur, like, just stay teachable. Like, don't ever get the big head. Always stay humble, because sometimes as quick as you can grow, it's literally you can fall just as quick. And
Facts.
it's just like, stay on your grind, and then always, like, just have good customer service. Good customer service is always key. And I feel like sometimes you work with people that don't have good customer service, and it's like, what do you do? How do you handle those people that don't have good customer service when you work with them? Are you just like, I'm gonna give you another chance because you got grace, or you like, you know what, this opportunity is just not for me right now?
So I actually, the way that I work, like I do like a lot of collaborations, and sometimes it's just like a one off.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I don't even really get the opportunity to like really see how their customer service works. Um, so that's a really good question. But as far as like collaborations and stuff, there was actually something recent that I was just kind of like, no, I just prefer not to work with that person
Yeah,
anymore. I'd rather not have my brand attached to this person
makes
anymore,
sense.
or attached to their brand, or whatever the case is. But
Yeah.
a lot of the times, it'll just be a one off.
Mm.
A one off.
Mm.
Now, if it's somebody I continue to work with and the customer service is bad, I feel like that's one thing that I stand 10 toes on. Like, I'm really big with treating other people with respect, especially the people who are coming to spend their coins with you. Like, especially those people.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like somebody go sit at a job and work for $21 an hour, and their bill was just $32. So they just spent more than an hour worth of their work time at your business.
Never
and
thought about that.
you can't even treat them with some decency. What is wrong
Yeah.
with you?
Right.
I don't want to attach myself to anybody like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. If I peep anything like that, it's a one off. I'm one and done. I'm cool. I can't work with you.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I think customer service, and I think a lot of people are like paying and going towards the experience. Like, when it comes to you, like, I feel like anything you would really attach your name to, like, the experience is like always phenomenal. It's always a lot of people there. Everybody always eating. Everybody always having a good time.
Thank you.
And it's like you always interacting with people, so that's always a good thing. And I just feel like majority of the time that's what people look for and pay for. Because it's like,
Yeah.
if it was me, I don't mind spending more money to have a good experience, to be able to dance with people, eat good
Mm-hmm.
food, go to different places to where it's a good vibe. Like, those types of things are like what I look for mainly. Like, and the food, if it's not the best and then the experience is phenomenal, I'm still gonna go back, because at this point I had a
Yep.
great, great, great experience.
Yes.
And then obviously, the customer service that includes with that experience. So I don't know. I'm just really trying to figure out, a different path when it comes to, businesses, because I feel like a lot of businesses hit plateaus, just like you said earlier. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they just like, I feel like I got everything. I feel like there's always something that can make me better, but I don't know what it is. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to you, have you ever hit a plateau? Have you ever felt like you just was like, okay, this is what it is. I don't feel like I can grow anymore.
No. I feel like I'm a foodie. I'm always hungry for more.
Mm,
I'm always hungry for more.
that's a good one. I like that. I
like
like that.
like no, I feel like I'm never satisfied. I'd be happy about where I'm at. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong. I'm always grateful for where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I'm just not always satisfied. Like, I always want more. Like, and I feel like if there's ever a time where you get bored with
Mm-hmm.
where you are, or you feel like there's nothing else that you can do, I want you to challenge yourself to find something else. Like, find something to incorporate it. If you're a content creator, figure out a new way that you can edit, or whatever the case is. But like, always keep it new, always keep it fresh, because I mean the world is constantly changing, so
Mm-hmm.
your brands should constantly change and grow with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say being stagnant is not it.
I don't blame
Not
you.
it.
I don't blame you. Like you said, you always a foodie. Say that one more time.
I'm a foodie. I'm always hungry for more.
Oh, I
Yeah,
like that. I like
yeah.
that. We need to go ahead and make
Yeah.
sure that is locked in forever.
Yeah.
That's fire.
I
That's
need to
fire.
trademark
Man,
that.
listen.
Copyright something.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So, is there any advice that you can give anybody that's looking to grow when it comes to gaining sponsorships? Are you familiar with any type of like knowledge when it comes to that?
um, ooh, this gonna be a gem. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm here.
All right. Knowing yourself and knowing your worth is gonna be like so major. I like played myself
Mm,
out of like a few opportunities where I really could have got some bags, like,
mm,
but I was just so desperate for the opportunity that I was willing to sell myself short, and like that's something that
mm,
I wish I didn't do, but at the same token, it was kind of good because they ended up spinning a block.
mm,
Um, I would say, of course, knowing your brand, knowing what you do, and how to sell yourself is very, very, very important. So, pitch decks, pitch decks will literally tell a business everything that they need to know about you. It'll have your pricing points. It'll have your statement. It'll have your mission. It'll have about the brand. It'll have pictures and videos, accolades. Like it'll have everything wrapped into one documentation as to what they need to know about you
mm,
and how your brand can help their brand. Because at the end of the
mm,
day, when it comes to partnerships, they don't care what their brand can do for you. They care about what your brand can do for them.
mm.
So you always want to make that statement very, very loud and clear. And then on top of that, don't be afraid to get told no. Don't be afraid to be left on red. Shoot your shot. My brand manager tells me this all the time, and I'll be telling other people now. You miss 100% of shots that you don't take.
That's a
You
fact.
miss 100% of shots that you don't
That's a
take.
fact.
Rather, they sat there and read your email, looked through your Instagram, and just wasn't satisfied, or whatever kind of business that you're in. It's like, okay, now they know who you are at least. That's a good start.
No, that's a very, very, very
Or
good start.
they seen your name in their emails a couple of times, and on that sixth email, they're gonna be like, all right, I'm finally gonna click on it. Let me see
Mm-hmm.
what they got going
Right.
on. Don't be afraid to shoot your shot.
I
Just
love
don't
it.
be afraid to shoot your shot.
I love it.
Cause after a while of shooting your shot so many times and finally getting some gigs coming in, whether it's like one this month, three this month, 12 next month, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's gonna start coming to you after so long. Like you won't even have to pitch. I mean, I still feel the need to pitch because I always want more and I want to work with bigger
Yeah.
and bigger and bigger brands
Right.
and expand further and further and further
Mm-hmm.
from Cincinnati. But it's just to the point where a lot of the stuff be falling into my lap because I put in the work 2.5 years ago. And that is finally paying off, coming to
Yeah.
fruition. So don't be afraid to shoot your shot. Don't be afraid to be told no. And find a way to make them feel like, gosh, I ain't got no choice but to work with this person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't want to hear you, make them listen.
Mm. Mm.
And that goes as far as like reaching your target audience too. They don't want to hear you, make them listen. I was posting and posting and posting, and a lot of my stuff was only getting like 3 shares, 12 likes for the longest.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden
It went. It went
it
up.
completely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just don't give up. Them partnerships will definitely come.
But as you said though, it took you 2.5 years to really like tune in to get you
Hmm.
to where this point is. A lot of people think like I want to start a business. 6 months down the road, I'm gonna be making $1 million. No, that's not how it's gonna work. The only thing is that sometimes it really take a long time. It took me 5 years, so it was like I'm good now where I am. I ain't gonna say I'm comfortable, but I'm to the point where I'm living a good life. I make really good money, and it's a lot of things that I put into place to get me where I am now. But a lot of it was to do with, my grind, the market, how consistent I was, the customer service, word of mouth when it comes to my clients, them saying, hey, go to him, do
Hmm.
this. And it's just like, sometimes it's always a good thing to really put in that work and just be patient.
Facts. Like the work that you put in a day, you might not see those results for another 3 to 6 months, another 2 years, another 5 years.
Man,
You won't always see today's work come to fruition like that.
it
Like
won't. You
it
won't.
just doesn't happen like
It
that.
don't. It don't. And I mean, it's gonna take time, but at the end of the day, just stay consistent. Like
Facts.
sometimes, like if you got you a content schedule, and you probably know about this. Like if you feel
Mm-hmm.
like, you posting every day for a month, and then you only post once a month, the next month they gonna be like, where'd she go? What
Yeah.
happened? And then at this point, your active followers that was actively following you and engaging with you and doing this and doing that, it's like you may have lost 20 to 30% of them, but
Mm-hmm.
some will probably still be there. But it's like just stay consistent. Being
Yeah.
being consistent is always a challenge. But I feel like once you start it, for the first 2 to 3 months, it's good to go. But then at that point, you got to stay consistent, and that's what having a team. Once you get
Mm-hmm.
your team together, you taking all your hands out of those hats,
Yes.
and you like, all right, I can relax. He gonna handle this. She gonna handle that.
Yep.
I got somebody to do this. I got somebody to do that. And now you just focusing on what you really want to focus on. And at this point, your team is building you up. And also,
Literally.
they building their self learning, knowledge, learning this, learning that. Obviously, them building their own brand as well based off of what they do. But
Facts.
like it's just a lot. And I feel like at the end of the day, like keep grinding, keep doing what you gotta do, and just stay humble, stay motivated, and keep it going. Because at the end of the day, like you really don't know who's gonna contact you.
Heavy on that.
Never,
And
ever.
you know what? That takes me back to something that I really wanted to touch base on. So like you never know who's watching. And um one opportunity I'll speak on is like my opportunity with the Wiz.
Mm-hmm.
So I met Trop. That's who um I collaborate with every Friday. Um I met her because of an event that I was hosting a red carpet for, and she was hosting the entire event in general. So we had meetings prior,
Mm-hmm.
and she ended up following me. I followed her, and that was that. Apparently, she watched me for months. I was not aware. She said she loves my consistency. She loves how driven I am, how much I pour into the community, X, Y, and Z. And she was like, I want to try to get a collaboration on the radio. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I've literally been watching you ever since we met back in November. And mind you, this opportunity didn't come about until September the following year.
Mm.
So she was watching me for almost a year.
Wow.
For almost a year. And I wasn't even aware. I was just being me
Yeah.
and putting in that effort, hoping that,
Yeah, right.
something would
Right.
come out of my hard
Yeah.
work. And the whole time it was just in its building stages. And I wasn't even aware of that. So it was so many times I wanted to give up in between that though.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was so many days I wanted to become inconsistent because I just didn't feel like it. Because
You and a
we
lot
get
of
like
other
that
people.
sometimes.
Yeah.
We get like that sometimes, and that's okay. But it's just learning how to fight through that and getting through it.
Mm.
So if I would have gave up when I was right there,
Mm-hmm.
none of this would have happened. None of this would happen. I wouldn't even be sitting right here talking with you. I wouldn't have the amazing brand manager that I have
Mm-hmm.
if I would have gave up when I wanted to give up. It's just like sometimes we give up or want to give up, not even realizing how close we are to those breakthroughs from those thresholds that we've just been like pulling and tugging on and trying to get through. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I would definitely say if it's something that you really love, do not give up on it. Do
Yeah.
not give up on it. Whatever it is, don't give up on it, because you are most likely like right there.
Yeah.
Most
No,
likely.
that's a fact. That's a fact. And then last thing, is I have my personal opinion on this. A lot of people have their personal opinion on this. And
Okay.
how do you feel about paid opportunities versus collaborations? It's a lot of people that want to get paid,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with money,
Facts.
but I feel like sometimes it's not all about money.
Facts.
Um, and a lot of people that grew up around the time that I was growing up, and also starting a business around the time I was starting a business. The people that I stayed tight in when it comes to owning a business, they're always like, "Hey, I want to make money. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this." But sometimes you have to not saying do it for free. Obviously, make sure that it benefits you somehow, some way, and make sure that it's putting you in rooms that you need to be in.
Mm-hmm.
But I always thought that collaborating is always better than getting paid.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's just my opinion. Though.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love to do things from the heart. So collaboration over anything, honestly. I mean, got to pay these bills though. So, the paid opportunities got to come, okay? But when it comes to our businesses and stuff like that, or people in general who are in their building stages, who are trying to thrive, who just like wants to pour into you as much as you should pour into them, like I don't see anything wrong with a collaboration. Like you said, as long as it's not hurting my business.
Yeah.
It will help me in some type of way. It'll lead me to another room. It'll get me the exposure that I need to elevate to the next level. It's all about thriving somehow, some way, or just simply doing something out of the kindness of your heart. And you'll never know where that will take you along. Like you doing things out of the kindness of your heart and helping the next person, you don't know what that can do for you. You don't know what that could do for you. Outside of business, I know for a fact that I've helped, and I really feel like I'm not going to dive into what I'm talking about exactly, but as I was building my brand, I was, in a sense, putting two special people before myself.
Okay.
And, like, it was...
I hear you.
So it was like, just kind of learning how to retract and learning how to identify what's going to help you and what's going to put you back. So assets versus liabilities. If the collaboration is an asset in any sort of way, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not? But if it's a liability, if it's something that's going to take from you, then that's different. So learning how to sort out the two. You'll never have all the right answers. Sometimes you're going to go with the wrong thing and put yourself in a bad situation, but it's really about those get backs. How bad do you want to get back up? So either way, but collaborations are always dope. Especially like if you know the person or the brand, like, and their core values align with yours, why not?
What? listen. Yeah, me personally, I've always felt that way. I've always felt like let's help each other grow. I mean, and it's like, we may be on different spectrums or different levels when it comes to that, but like if I can help you and you can help me, like why not? Like you said, it doesn't make sense not to do it. I mean, sometimes like you said, the bills got to get paid. So obviously, if there is an opportunity to where we can collaborate, but then also this person that is looking for something or whatever it is, put me in those rooms that I need to be in, and at that point it's okay. Well, now I'm getting paid from me doing a small collaboration. So that has happened to me. I don't know how many times now at this point.
Countless, because you take those opportunities and it turns into more. Like why not? Why not?
And then you just never know who's gonna be in that room. You might be the next millionaire.
Yes, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Like, and I know you kind of said something about it earlier, like putting yourself in those rooms where you're uncomfortable and stuff like that. So like I used to be so scared because because I'm like, well, what if I'm like not good enough? Like, but whole time I start figuring out the more that I went in those rooms that those people, like, they seem like these puzzles that are so well put together, but they always got that one missing piece. And majority of the time, you are that missing piece. So you deserve to be in that room, and you're exactly what they need.
Exactly.
So I love collaborating and getting into those new rooms and being that puzzle piece that people need. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
At all. Well, I really appreciate you coming today. You have gave the people all the gems that was needed. And definitely looking forward to, people learning from this, because at the end of the day, like, some people don't necessarily have that motivation to come up to you or come up to me or come up to, somebody that they look up to and be like, hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do that? And it's like, people need to really learn, because I didn't get taught. So I know how hard it is to grind and grind and grind. And it's like, I wish somebody would have taught me this before I made this mistake. Now that I done made it, it took me a couple more years to really get on my grind. But it's like, now I got the knowledge to be able to just give it out. And I've always had a good heart. I've always wanted to be that type of person to where, like, helping people is always my thing. And I've always said, hey, what can I do to make your business grow? And that's really why I got into content. It was like, a lot of people struggle with content, how to post it, how to make it, how to shoot it, how to get in front of the camera, how to be on mic. And they're always so focused on, hey, how can I make money, or how can I grow my brand, or how can I do this, or how can I hire an employee? And that's really why it's like, content is so important, as you know. I mean, you always posting content, you always shooting content, and it's like without the marketing behind it, and then obviously social media is a whole nother topic. But social media can take you so many different places in this world nowadays. It really can. It really can. So, is there any last words that you would like to say to anybody that's listening, any entrepreneurs that want to follow into your footsteps, anybody that want to start a business? Any last words that you can give them? Any last advice that you can tell them?
Yeah. When you're starting out, don't worry about having it all together. You will never have all of the right answers. Don't worry about what you have, what you don't have. Worry about how you're going to get it. And worry about how you can get started without having all of the necessary tools.
Yep.
So work with what you got. Be enthusiastic when it comes to your job, when it comes to your work. You get, what do they say? You get out of it what you put in. So when you do work with enthusiasm, it'll definitely change a lot of things. It'll definitely change a lot of things. Don't compare your journey to anybody else's. Yours is written the way that it's supposed to be written. And always give yourself grace. It won't be easy. It won't always be crystal clear either. And like I said earlier in the podcast, like, you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board a few times.
Yeah.
And don't worry about who's supporting you. Don't worry about who's not supporting you. Figure out how you're gonna get them on your side. That is like the duty that you should put high priority for yourself, is how to get people on your side and how to keep them on your side and how to get yourself on your own side too, because you're going to be your biggest enemy. You're going to be your biggest critic, and that can be good, but just don't be too hard on yourself. Because you deserve that grace. So yeah, that'll be my final words. And you can do anything you put your mind, heart, and hard work to as well.
Oh, that's a good one. You speaking. I love it. Well, we really appreciate y'all tuning in, y'all listening. If there's any questions for Foodies with a Cutie, we would love for you to put them in the comments. We'll be posting Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and every other day when it comes to flyers, quotes, different things like that. So appreciate y'all tuning in. If there's any questions or any concerns or comments, please put it in the comment as well. Like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank y'all. See y'all on the next one. Peace.
Bye.